So you've received your login information for your new Denari company and you've logged in to see the Denari homepage. Now what? Where do you start? I don't want to be discouraging, but there is a learning curve, so it's best to take it a little at a time. Don't try to get everything going at once. It's important to understand the basics and then build from there. This video will try to get you off on the right foot to help you build that foundation. It serves as an overview of the rest of the training videos and discusses a variety of topics in an attempt to fill in some of the holes. The first place to start is by understanding Denari's codes. Codes are simply ways to tag donors, gifts, pledges, and other data so that you can pull them out later for reports. If you're just setting up your codes, the best place to start is by asking yourself, what kind of reports or information will we want from Denari in the future? That will help you develop your set of codes. There are a set of videos that explain the Denari codes. You need to be sure you understand the content of those videos before you go any further. Let's pause here to tell you that anytime you have a question or problem, you can contact tech support by clicking the Help button at the top of the page. And then from there, click Support from the drop-down menu. Enter your message there and someone will respond during office hours. The response will show up in the Message Center. Just click the message icon or button here at the top of the page to receive your message. Tech support is free and unlimited during normal office hours, which are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Contacting tech support is easy. Your message is immediately logged into our tracking system and someone will respond as quickly as possible. We can guarantee a 2-hour response time during office hours, but we're usually much faster than that. Sometimes you need to talk to someone. You may need to talk something through and typing just isn't going to work. In that case, just send us a message asking us to call and give us a phone number where you can be reached. It's very helpful if you can provide examples in your tech support requests. If you say, for example, I added a new name record and X happened, it will help if you can add to that name record that we can look at to see what happened, and that will shorten the process for everyone. We have a training company set up for you to practice with so that you don't have to goof up your real data. If you haven't yet been provided with a login to the training company, contact tech support. They'll give you that information. You can then create bogus name records, gift records, etc., and not have to be concerned about making mistakes or having to delete them later. If we've done a data conversion for you, you will need to review your data for accuracy fairly quickly. We have a 15-day warranty period on the conversion, which means we'll fix anything that we've done incorrectly in that period. After that, it becomes difficult for our conversion staff to remember exactly what they've done, and everything begins to get a little fuzzy, so we want to get problems resolved and you on your feet as soon as possible. Reviewing your data can be a little difficult at this point if you don't know much about Denari, but you can check to see if the correct number of name records have been transferred, check the gift totals for the years to be sure they match, etc. If you have codes that have been converted, it will help to first understand the codes in Denari so that you can check to be sure that info has been moved over to the correct fields. For example, what Denari calls a fund code is probably not what your old software called it, but if you understand what a fund code is, then you'll know where to look. If you find any problems, don't panic. It's not uncommon. We try very hard to get it right, but the structure of software is very different from program to program, so we sometimes make mistakes. Notify tech support and we'll get it fixed as quickly as possible. It may take a few days to get it all resolved, but it won't be long before you're off and running. One of the most difficult things about learning new software is simply finding your way around. You will find that in Denari there is a method to the madness. Information is grouped according to a data type. An example of some of the types in fundraising data are names, gift, pledges, sponsorships, etc. So you'll find a menu on the left with names, gift, pledges, sponsorship, and so on. If you're looking for something related to names, you'll head to the name link. Looking for something related to pledges, you'll head to the gifts and pledges link. One note here, however, and this can be a little confusing, but here's the logic. A pledge belongs to the donor. So you'll find the donor's pledge record within that donor's name record. But things like pledge reports and other pledge related items will be found on the Gifts Pledges page. User setup. Once you're through your early steps, you'll want to set up users so that your organization can log in. We have a separate training session that covers that information, and you'll want to check that out soon as well. If you would be using credit cards and electronic fund transfers, or EFTs, through Denari, you'll want to set up an account with Practical Business Solutions. Denari does not process or store credit cards or EFT information. It sends the information to a third-party company called FrontStream that is PCI compliant, and they process the transactions. PCI just means that they meet the security standards set by the credit card industry. Your relationship with FrontStream is managed by Practical Business Solutions. You will need to establish an account with them. Once that's done, they will send us your account information, and we'll set that up in Denari so that Denari can communicate with FrontStream. If you don't yet have the contact information for Practical Business Solutions, just contact tech support in Denari and we'll get you that information. Maintaining a database, especially a web-based one, requires some work. Every night, Denari has things that it needs to do, like doing a daily backup, calculating statistics and homepage stats, running credit cards and EFTs, etc. Denari starts this process late in the evening and runs through much of the night. During that time, the servers are running very hard, which causes Denari to slow significantly. If you're a middle of the night kind of person and you log in at 3 a.m., you may find that it appears as though Denari is down. It's not really down, just running very slowly because the servers are running hard doing these other tasks. We also reserve Monday evenings for other types of maintenance like installing software updates, hardware changes, installing new software, etc. We start at about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, if you log in on Monday evening, you may find that Denari is very slow. We know that this can be inconvenient, but these are things that just have to be done, and we appreciate your understanding. We try to keep it to a minimum. Other than those times, you will find Denari up and running unless there is an unexpected hardware or software malfunction. The worst and most frustrating mistake you can make is to assume that when it comes to learning how to use Denari, that you'll just pick it up. Databases are not like word processors. You may have fired up Microsoft Word and instinctively been able to type a letter and hit the print button, but you probably can't use many or most of the features that Word offers unless you get training. A database program like Denari is even more complicated. To be successful, you have to understand your data and how to use the software. You've invested in the software to help you raise money. Now you need to invest in training to help you get the most from your investment. There are 4 options available for training. First is these videos. Most of the major topics are covered here, and we'll continue to add to them as time goes on. They are free, and you can view them as often as you like and in whatever order you like on your schedule. Need to brush up on gift entry? Come back and work through just that video. Hire a new staff person? Send them here first. Web training is the second option. Its customized web training time can be purchased when you feel it is needed. Just contact our admin office at 1-800-352-0312 or email to sales@denarisoft.com, and they'll quote you a price and arrange a time. We try to keep the prices as low as possible so that you can take advantage of this type of training. Web training is done on a customized basis. We can cover whatever topics you want with plenty of time for questions and answers. You'll log into a web training session with one of our staff. You'll be able to see that person's desktop, and you can have as many people in the class as you want. The third training option is the help files. If you prefer to read instructions, you can just click the help button at the top of the page. Most of the topics are covered there, and you can work through them as you need them. And then finally, the fourth option is on-site training. This last option is for one of our staff to come to your site. This method, no doubt, is the most effective but also the most expensive option. We can come to your location and tailor the training to your staff and your specific needs. For prices and scheduling, contact our admin office at the phone and email address mentioned earlier. Everyone wants custom software. No two organizations raise funds in exactly the same way. Unfortunately, custom software is very expensive, but we do try to be as flexible as possible with things like statements that you send to your donors. Denari does offer default versions of things like thank you receipts, pledge statements, etc., but some of them can be modified somewhat to meet your specific needs. Each statement format is driven by a template, and those templates have pre-programmed fields. For example, the thank you receipt has fields like the name and address fields, the gift date, gift amount, year to date, and others. We can modify those templates by removing fields, rearranging fields, adding text, and adding graphic files like logos. We cannot, however, without custom programming that requires a fee, add fields that aren't already there. The templates reside on our servers, and therefore we need to make the changes. The best and quickest method for that is for you to print out the default as it is now. Mark it with the changes you want, scan it, and email it to tech support at denarisoft.com. We'll make the changes and then ask you to print it again. If there are more changes needed, just let us know. We may need to go back and forth a few times until we get it the way you want. And speaking of customization, software is designed to meet the majority of needs and wants. As mentioned earlier, everyone wants it to work the way they work. Unfortunately, the reality is customizations are expensive because they may only fit one organization. What you think is a great idea may not be what others want. There are two ways to approach changes that you'd like to see in Denari. The first is the least expensive. Simply hit the suggestion link found under the help button at the top of the page. Fill in the form and submit. We can make no promises with suggestions, however. When we have a program time available, we will review the list and pick out those that we believe will assist the most users. If there is a change that you believe is critical for your organization, we are open to custom programming. Customization requires that we allocate programming time to your project, and that will require a fee. You can start the process by clicking on the gear icon at the top of the page and then select the customization link. Fill in the form. As you can see in the text on the page, you will be required to pay an analysis fee. Once this form is submitted, someone will contact you to discuss your customization and quote you a price for the work. If you should decide to move forward with the work at the end of the analysis phase, the fee will be applied to that final total. There are several add-on modules to Denari like the missionary module, share-a-thon, child sponsorship, etc., and there are training videos available for those. Chances are you've already discussed those with our sales staff, and those modules are already turned on in your Denari company. However, there are two that require special mention here. First is Online Community. Online Community is the web portal provided by Denari for your donors. It allows them to make donations and pledges, see their gift and pledge history, purchase items from an online store, and more. The setup involves making the online community pages look similar to your website so that when donors click off of your site to your OLC site, there will be a sense of continuity. The setup process can take a week or more depending on other demands. Following the setup, we will schedule about an hour of free web training with you. Online community is fairly complicated and will require a one-on-one web training session. It is helpful if you have a basic understanding of Denari before we begin this process, but when you're ready, let us know and we can get started on the setup. You will also need to have your credit card and EFT account set up with Practical Business Solutions, as mentioned earlier, to allow donations through Online Community. The second module we need to mention is Share-a-thon. It is a fairly complicated module that also requires some web training. When you're ready to get going there, contact tech support and we'll schedule some web time. So where do you go from here? Your next videos should be the codes. As mentioned earlier, understanding them is crucial to understanding Denari and how best to get the information you need. We highly suggest that that is your next stop. From there, you'll need to know how to enter names and gifts, and there are videos for each of those. From there, you can begin to specialize. If you're a sponsorship organization, you can focus your attention there. If you're a missionary, then head in that direction. Of course, you'll need to view the admin related videos like user setup, etc. Our purpose for this session is to fill in some of the information holes and help you get started a little more quickly, and we hope we've done that. If you have any questions, please contact tech support through the help button at the top of the Denari page, and we'll help you get going as quickly as possible.